Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I want to make this video tutorial, just kind of carrying on from where we left off in class last week. What I want you to do is basically follow this. You can do it on your own, or you can do it during a regular scheduled class. But what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna make video tutorials on what you need to do instead of doing them live over Zoom, which, if you remember, Zoom is sort of like Skype, because that way it'll get really bogged down when people need help. If I'm doing it, then I have to stop and help somebody, and it's going to be hard to do that. And then it's not going to be as quick and easy as it is like in person. So I'm going to make this video tutorial. You're going to follow it, and then I'm still going to be on Zoom on the regularly scheduled time. So that would be Thursdays, 10 to 12:50. So if you need help and stuff, I'll be on there, and you still need to log on because that's how I take attendance. They still want to take attendance like normal, so you're still gonna need to log on. And then if you need help or anything like that, you can ask during that session as well. Okay, so anyway, I'm just gonna kind of continue on where we left off. Okay. So we got this far basically with the skeleton. Now what I need to do is just continue it. So I'm just going to go to rigging and click on this. Maybe even switch this to rigging since we're doing all this stuff. So this creates the joints. All right. And I need to, let's do the jaw next here. So I'm going to hold V and point snap. Don't go like this. Like, see how it's right here? Watch when I try to do it. It works. Oh. Sometimes what will happen is it will actually select the joint, and then the next joint you draw, well, it went way out there, will be off of that, okay, which is handy. Oh man, now that joint's gigantic. Anyway, I'm going to hold V, and I'm just going to click over here, but not on it, and that way it'll snap to that point, and I'm just going to hold V and click there and enter, and I'm just going to do modify, where's it, search and replace names. We're going to search for joint, not like that, joint, and replace with jaw underscore C underscore JNT, and then we'll hit replace. Boom. Okay, that's great. Now that's really messed that one up. Actually, let's grab this guy, and where is, let's see, draw styles joint, and let's see, it's under display. No. Where is the... Gosh darn it. Way to change the size of it. I can't remember. I know how to change all of them, but... Okay, so we're going to call that good for that. Go back to the joint tool again, and I'm just going to hold V and boom. I'm still holding V this whole time, just a point snap. Right like that. That's great. And then I'm just going to continue... Well, we'll do it like that, actually. So... And then we'll just modify, search and replace names. And instead of jaw, it will be arm underscore L JNT and replace. Good. And here we go. So now I'm going to start here. So I'm going to hold V and go boom, boom, boom. Enter. And modify, search and replace names. Search for joint. And this is going to be... thumb underscore L underscore JNT, and let's hit apply. We'll just keep that up, that way I don't have to keep doing it every time. I'm gonna hit Y to bring the last tool I used up, and hold V, boom, 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 and you can see my joints are really just like too big. So I'm gonna go to display, animation, joint size. Let's do like 0.5. Still kind of big, 0.25. Go with that. So if you need to scale it, that's how you do that. Okay, so with this, this is going to be index, and apply. So the difference between clicking this button and this one is that if you hit apply, you'll notice that most of the executable tools, they usually have two options. One's apply and the other one's like whatever it is. If I click this, it does it and closes the window. This leaves the window open, so that's why we're doing it like that. Okay, so now I'm going to hit Y and hold V, boom, 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 boom. And this one will be middle, and apply. Click back over here. Make sure you click off over here. Y. V, 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 V. Okay. This will be ring. Okay. And apply. Okay. And point snapping it down the line. Good. And this will be pinky. Pinky. Ah. And replace. And I think that's all of them, right? Good, good. Okay. So now we're going to do is a couple of other things. How do I want to go about doing this? Do I want to do it that way? Yeah, we'll do it like that. Okay, so I want to parent this leg to this joint. Okay, then we'll hit P. So select this, hold shift, select this, hit P, that parents it. And now if I grab this one, it moves the legs with it. All right, I'm going to grab this one, select this one, P, and then the jaw to the head, and P, okay? And then I got to do all these fingers, but you can do it this way. I want to click on this one, holding shift, hit Q, so shift, right, grab all of them. The last one you select is what everything gets parented to. Then I'll hit P, okay? So good. Now we have the skeleton. That is fine. Now I need to do this. I'm going to go to... I actually need to put 2 joints here. And I'll explain it later on why we have that like that. But actually, for that matter, I'm going to unparent this. So to unparent something, select it and hit Shift P. Okay. So I need to have 2 joints here. One's going to be the root joint, and the other one's going to be hips override. And in fact, actually, in the channel box here, instead of it being called spine 1, JNT, let's just call this root, like that, with a big all caps, because it's super duper important. Okay. So with that selected, I'm going to go to Windows, General Editors, Hypergraph Hierarchy, and I'll hit F to frame. Okay, so there's my root joint. Oh, they upped the graphics there. Okay, I need to make one that's exactly in the same spot. The easiest way to do this is to actually take it and then just Control D to duplicate it. So now there's literally 2 of them right on top of each other. See? And all I'm going to do is just delete everything. So it's just this one and that one. And I'm going to rename this one. Oops. Hips override underscore JNT. Hips override JNT. Okay. Then we're going to take the legs, and I'm going to shift select this and hit P. So now the legs are here. And then we're going to take this and parent that to this and hit P. So if I want to move the whole body, I can move the whole body. But let's say I wanted him to do like an Elvis dance or something. I can grab this and move just the hips. It basically allows me to move. Otherwise, if I only had the one joint, it would move all of it, which I might not want. It just gives me more functionality is the idea. Okay. All right, good. So we have that. That's looking fine. What we need to do now is probably save it. So save it as your next version. And now I want to adjust the local rotation axis. All right. So what that involves is this. If you select the joints, you will notice, let me use move tool, that I have it on world. So I grab the move tool, go to the tool settings, and make sure this is set up to object. Okay. There we go. Good. So you can see it's set up to go downwards, right? But what you will notice is, see how the blue arrow is going this way? And now the blue arrow is going that way, this way, and then that one's going that way. So what ends up happening is this. Let's say I wanted to grab all these legs and just bend them all together, okay? When I go to rotate this, they don't all rotate in the same direction. You see what I'm saying? Like it rotates in a weird way. I would like it so that basically when I go to rotate it, they will all rotate in the same direction, like a knee, like your leg would, right? So that's the idea. So we need to change the local rotation axis, all right? And here's the thing too. So we talked about this before. Another thing we're worried about is gimbal lock. So, okay, that's really big. So I'm going to change this to gimbal so you can see. So right now, the idea here is this. X will always be my roll axis, meaning it's the one that goes down and it will allow your leg to roll, right? So every one of them, the X should be like this. That's fine. That's what I want. I want my main axis, the one that I'm going to animate on, like what the most likely motion is, to be my blue one. Okay? The reason for that is this. Watch when I go to rotate this. See how all the axes, they're all still good? Because this is XYZ rotation. Okay? See how the yellow one works and the red one works? If I made it, like right now, it's kind of on Y, you'll see that as soon as I bend the leg the most likely way, it already starts gimbaling. Like it immediately gimbals. Or gimbal locks, I should say. Right? So what I want to do, basically, is make it so that that the Z is this way. It's also crooked as all get out. So there's a bunch of things I need to change on this, all right? So we're going to start with the leg, and then we'll work our way up. So you can put this back on object. And then we need to get to the local rotation. Now, it's a little bit weird, the process. You got to go up here and go to component, and then hit this question mark. I wonder if you can right-click on it. I don't know. But anyway, so go to component mode, which is this one. If you hover down here, it'll actually say it. So if you look, it says object mode and then component mode, basically. And then I think this is both or something. Oh, hierarchy, I don't know. But anyways, you want to do component mode, and then we want the question mark. That's like the miscellaneous one, all right? Yay. Okay, so I want to make it so that all of my Z's are all going in one direction. And actually, let me turn this off for a second. Let me see. You guys, I want to see which direction I want it to go. So, okay, so that's going into a negative number. I'd like it so that it went to a positive number. Okay. So, let's go up here. All right. Not you. Come on, I want the joints. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. All right. Up. There we go. And actually, I'm just going to click on the highest in the hierarchy and then switch to that mode. There we go. That way I can see everything. So, I want the Z's to actually be facing towards the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this one, hit E for rotate, and then I'm just going to rotate this until the Z is perfectly going that direction, okay? I don't know if you can see it, but see, the Z is now pointing straightly with the leg to the right. That makes sense? So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm select this one, and then, come on, there we go. And I'm going to hold J for increment, because it's already kind of straight, and like that. And then it moved a little bit more that I didn't want it to, so we'll say like that. And then I'm going to take this one, and I'll just manually do it. Alright, okay. And the last one honestly doesn't matter, but I'm just going to do it anyways because it bothers me. It's just being anal. And Z's pointing that direction. And take this one. And let's see, make sure it's like, okay, good. Okay. And just again, get the idea. So now you'll notice is when I go to rotate this, see how the Z is perfectly like the knee should be? It's going to make it go right up, and like if you kick your knee back, you hit yourself in the butt, right? So now he will do that, which is good. And you'll see that all of them, they all have the same basic kind of orientation. So if I go to rotate it, you can see they all go up in a line and in the same direction, which is what I wanted. Okay, so that's basically what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to set it up so that Z is on the main, direction that its main way of rotating. Okay, so select that again. Go back into component mode. All right. So if you look, see how half the Z's are this way, half of them are that way. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to hit Q this one, and then I'm going to rotate. I'm going to use Mel this time because I want to rotate 180 degrees. So let's see if we can write it with Mel. Rotate -R, which means relative, and then it's XYZ. It takes a that's a flag. I don't know what you guys know for coding, but that's how Mel works. XYZ, and I want to rotate it on X, right? Because the X is the pivot. So XYZ. So it's the first one. So I'm gonna do 180, and then space 0, space 0, and then semicolon, and hit enter. And then that will rotate it 180 degrees. See? And I'll select this one, and I'll click down here, and I'm just going to hit the up arrow, and that will show, like, whatever you write in there kind of keeps it. So if I keep hitting up arrow, it'll show everything that's written that I've written. I've only wrote this, so that's fine. And then I'll hit enter. But if you want to see Mel in action, watch this. If I click on this thing, which is the script editor, it comes up right here, okay? So for instance, like this, my main rotation for my shoulders, I'm going to say, is it could be shrugging, or it could be, you know, coming forward or back. It kind of moves in all directions. Okay, but I'm just going to go ahead and rotate this up. I just want you to see something. Watch, when I go to rotate it like this, you can see right here, here's the bit of code. So if I grabbed that, so I'm going to undo that. But watch, if I take this, Control C, and if I put it in here, actually I'll put it down here so you can see it too. Control V, and if I enter, it does the exact same thing I just did. Okay, so the nice thing is you can kind of figure out writing code by actually seeing everything I've done is actually right here in this Mel. So if you see me writing stuff in here, we're not really going to be doing too much of that, but when you get into higher end rigging, that's basically what you do. So at the up arrow, and that was the last thing I wrote, but I would rather it was 90 degrees, and boom, there it is, right? That works pretty good. So I'll click on this one, up arrow, oops, sorry, down here, up arrow. Good, that works for me. And then select this one. I'm just going to manually do this because the Z is my main axis I want to rotate on. Okay, and then this one, you can see it doesn't have, because this was an end joint, it doesn't have anything like that. So I'm going to make sure my X points down towards the children in general. Okay, like that. And then the Z should be pointing up, right? Because again, what I'm thinking is when I go to rotate my arm here, the main rotation is Z, it should be like that, right? So that's why I'm doing it that way. Okay, and go back to the component mode here. Okay, so that looks fine. These look fine, but you can see Z's are over here. These Z's are in that direction, so I'm just going to hit up, 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 up. There we go. So I get to the 180 one I wrote. Boom, 180. And this one as well. Up, enter. And this one as well. Up, and enter. And I think all those Z's are pointing that direction. Now this one again, this one doesn't matter because it's the end joint, but I just like to have things be clean. So there you go. That one's, and this one also doesn't matter again because it's an end joint. That should face upwards, like so, and then this should face that way. It's just because it bothers me if it's not. Okay. Good. All right. So you can see all my Z's are now pointing to the right here. These are all pointing up, and then now we need to do the hands. So these are going to be kind of sucky. So we'll take this one and this one, and we're just going to rotate it like this. Rotate it how you think that. So I'm thinking the thumb would kind of bend down in this direction. You want to rotate so you can see where your blue would be, where you want that to line up. So we'll say like that, I guess. And then this one has got to rotate in all directions. And I'm just going to try and match it to the others like so. And I'm going to hit Q, this one, and then I'll hit back to E, and I'm just going to rotate it so that the Y's are sticking up. So that looks acceptable. I'll do the tips at the end. I'm just going to get all these ones done first. There we go. And I'm going to rotate it so the Y's are facing upwards. Good. And this one, this one, this one, and not that one. And we're just going to rotate it again so the Y's are up. Because I'm picturing the fingers, right? They're going to crawl, they're going to roll this way. Or rotate that way. So this one, this one, this one. It's kind of hard to see, but hopefully you're getting kind of the idea of what we're trying to do here. Good. I feel like this should be rotated back just a little bit. Okay. And then I'm just going to do these tips, which again, don't really matter. Just bothers me not to do it. And these should all be facing up. That looks fine. And then down and over. Rotate it back a little. Okay. And then we'll just do this last one. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back into object mode. Boop. All right. And now what we're going to do is this. Okay. You're going to, so now you can see if I were to grab all of my finger joints here, because we've done the joint rotation, and if I were to rotate these all on their Z's, you'll see the fingers all come in the same way. So that's the idea. I want to make sure that they rotate in a logical manner. All right? Good. We can close this out. All right. Okay, so again, save it because that's done. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mirror our joints over. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to select this leg joint here. I'm going to go to skeleton, mirror joints, hit the option box. Okay, so make sure you're in rigging, skeleton, mirror joints, option box. And we want to mirror on what here? So it's saying X, Y, Y, Z, or X, Z. So imagine it's making a plane. And that's basically what you're doing. So if we look at here, if we do X, Y, that would be this way and this way. So that would go this way to this way, which is not what we want. If we did Y, Z, see how there's the Y and the Z there? That would make a plane like this, okay? So that would go from here to here. That's the one we want, okay? And it would be easier if it said positive X and negative X or something like that. But now, you'll see there's behavior and there's orientation. So behavior does this. If you do orientation, it's literally going to make the other leg the exact same orientation as this. You know what, why don't I show you and then you'll get an idea. So let's do orientation and I will apply. So notice that it's the exact same, which is not what I want. And now when I go like this, see how they go like that? Now usually your legs actually kind of might work opposite of each other. So it's probably not what you want. Well, actually, I know it's not what you want. So what you're going to want to do is actually behavior, and you'll see that now they're opposites, but when I go like this, right? So that's actually what we want most of the time. But don't just do it. What we want to do is we're going to search for underscore L underscore. You have to put the underscores in and replace with underscore R underscore. So when it duplicates it, it's going to rename it, and it's going to take the part that's underscore L underscore and make it underscore R underscore. The reason why that's important is if you don't do it, if you just write L, it'll be reg R joint. It'll replace the L here. But if you put the underscore L underscore, it has to look for that whole thing. Now go ahead and hit apply. Good. So now it's on the other side. You can see leg R joint. Okay. That's good. Select this one. And again, hit apply. Boom. And we did not make eye joints. I think we'll do that later. We'll leave it alone for now. Okay, good. And then we'll close, and yay, we've got a fully built skeleton. Now what I'm going to do is go to Windows, General Editors, Hypergraph Hierarchy, and I'm going to grab all of my curves here. Click and drag all of the curves, and let's just put them in a new layer, and we'll just call this wire, and save. I'm also going to group them, Control G, so they're in a group, and I'll just call this group wires. Yeah, wires underscore GRP for group. Okay, so now I know what that is, and that's good. I'm going to take my... We'll leave that alone for now. Okay, so good. And I'm actually going to take the wires and turn that off because I don't need that anymore. And let's put the geo back on, and you can see our dude has some joints. So I'm going to call it good on this video. And then what I'm going to do... Oh, you know what? Let's do one more thing before we actually finish up here. I'm going to whatever with my dude there. Let's save it again. Continue. And let's go ahead and we're just going to bind it now, and then we'll rig the model onto the binding. Okay, so I'm at 4 so I can see the wire, the model inside. Select this. Actually, let's hit 5. Leave that on there, but what we'll do is do X-ray joints, which is this. Or you go to shading, X-ray joints, and that way you can see the joints through the model. Okay, so I'm select this, hit the up arrow until I get to the highest in the hierarchy. Shift select your model. Okay, so you should have the model and the root joint selected. And then we're going to go skin, bind skin, option box. So we want joint hierarchy is fine, geodesic voxel, classic linear, interactive. Come on. Interactive, distance. I don't really care about that. Make sure maintain max influences off. Max influences, we'll just go ahead and put on 3 for now. It's probably good. Resolution, I'm going to do 512. And that should all be good. And hit bind skin. And, wow, this is going slow. Okay, so that's going to bind the model. And then that will be good. So once that's done being bound, just save it. I'm going to end this video. And then on the next one, we're going to start rigging the leg. Okay?